Bro, what if the oldest legends on Earth were never just stories? Come on, man. Today, we're getting into fallen angels, the dragon bloodlines, and the Tibetan snow lion rabbit hole. It's Brosky Ray. Let's go.
Disclaimer: this video is for entertainment purposes only. Please do your own research, as these clips haven't been fact-checked.
This angel never said the name Jesus Christ.
Whoa.
A deception that happened to
That's not angels, that's fallen angels.
a monk.
The monk was basically like, I want to become a hermit. So he went to his elder monk and he says, you're too young. You're not ready to live this hermit lifestyle. And he's like, I'm going to do it anyways. So he goes and he finds a cave. Living in this cave, he's visited by an angel. And this angel taught him a vast amount of scripture. People from all over would come to him with the knowledge of scripture. But caveat was that this angel never said the name Jesus Christ, never talked about the New Testament.
Yeah, and in fact removed the New Testament from his reading. And he also said, you don't need to pray anymore. I'm praying on your behalf.
Whoa.
Come to find out, it was a demon that was teaching him.
Taking the name of Jesus and prayer, our powers out of his hand. That's crazy.
And it went to the point the guy became so deranged and like obsessed that he forgot how to read.
The demon took away his ability to read.
His monk buddies go check on him and then discover the oppression and save him. And then the guy goes on to be a saint, which I think is really cool.
We all need some monk buddies.
I'll need some monk buddies.
I'll be your monk buddy.
Wow, it sounds familiar. You know, like the so-called prophet. He went to the cave and the so-called angel gave him a revelation about a certain religion. If you know, you know.
What is the dragon bloodline really? The dragon bloodline refers to an ancient, highly advanced master race of priest kings and goddess queens who were genetically bred to be the overlords of human society. This royal lineage traces its roots back to the Annunaki, aka fallen angels, and descends directly from the Annunaki goddess Lilith. In The Dragon Legacy, Nicholas de Ver explains how the pure elven royalty were characterized by tall stature, translucent pale skin, green or blue eyes, and the royal coloring of red or red gold hair. To maintain their heightened intelligence, extraordinary magical power, and extreme longevity, the dragon queens and kings practice an organic alchemical ritual known as royal vampirism, which involved the ritualistic ingestion of starfire, the menstrual blood, and female of virgin grail maidens and dragon princesses. In his Genesis 6 conspiracy series, Gary Wayne describes how, as the dragon bloodline migrated into Europe and Asia, it was carried by the royal Scythians, the Aryans, and the Celtic Tuatha De Danann, the tribe of Anu. These fair-skinned, red-haired, and green-eyed overlords became mythologized as the elves, fairies, and the Shining Ones. In Celtic Britain, the lineage manifested in the Pendragons, or Head Dragons, a title held by kings such as Cymbeline and the legendary King Arthur. Ultimately, the Celtic, Merovingian, and Norse Grail lineages were all unified in the Scottish House of Stuart, which was celebrated as the quote, House of Unicorns. Following the deposition of the Stuarts, the bloodline has continued to survive to the present day in a network of interlinked aristocratic families known as the Rex Deus. These contemporary families include the Sinclairs, the Habsburg Lorraines, the Plantards, the Luxembourgs, and the House of Vere.
And the Jesuits served them?
In the Hebrew Bible, there is a people so feared, so cosmically threatening that the God issued a command that has no parallel anywhere else in the entire Torah. Destroy them completely, every man, every woman, every child, every animal. Leave nothing. The Amalekites. They were the first nation to attack Israel after the exodus from Egypt. And the manner of that attack revealed something the Torah considers uniquely sinister. They did not attack from the front. They came from behind, targeting specifically the weak, the exhausted, those with nothing left to defend themselves with. In Kabbalistic tradition, this detail is everything. The numerical value of Amalek in Hebrew gematria equals the word safek, doubt. The Amalekites in esoteric Jewish understanding are not simply a historical enemy. They are the embodiment of the force that attacks you at your most depleted. The voice that surfaces when your faith is weakest, when the distance between who you are and who are you trying to become feels impossible. Every generation, according to the Talmud, has its Amalek. The external enemy changes its face. The internal enemy remains identical. The commandment to destroy Amalek is understood in Kabbalistic reading as an inner imperative, the eradication of doubt from the human soul. The deeper layers of this, the esoteric warface tradition, built around Amalek and what it means for your own inner life, I go into properly inside my private study circle on Telegram. Link is in bio. What is Amalek in your own life that keeps attacking from behind?
Is it Gnostic teachings, I think?
So this woman's a witch, but she decides to do a little experiment. She says, you know what? I'll give Jesus a try just for 1 minute. Let's see what happens. Take a look.
Because I knew, she kept telling me you can't do both. You can't like do witchcraft and be with Jesus. So I was like, okay, well, I'll do a little test. I'll just put it down for a minute and I'll try it out and it's going to be wrong was essentially what I thought. So I tried it out and I just experienced like such a sense of peace and love, unconditional love that I had never felt in my whole life. I can't even explain it. Like when I was in New Age, it didn't feel as personal as it does to Jesus. It just didn't. Nothing did.
You know, if you asked a bunch of Christians how they feel when they find Jesus, that's the exact same thing they'll tell you. That's what I'll tell you. Peace. Unexplainable peace. That's Jesus. He is unconditional. Nothing is more powerful than the presence of Jesus. Nothing. Amen. Satan, you lost again, bro.
Another sister we're going to see in heaven. Thank you, Jesus.
But these like billionaire dudes, they're on a whole different level. They're hunting all kind of stuff. There's even like stories of like billionaires hunting people.
There's the island story.
Yeah. They'll hire homeless people or different people from all around the world who need money. And like, hey, survive, you get $100,000.
Squid Games?
Yeah. You don't think they do that?
I do think
For sure.
For sure. They have
These people have a bloodlust. Okay, I've conquered the earth. What else can I conquer?
Right.
People. And there's many stories of that, like where they're just picking people up, people disappearing.
There are a lot of people who are disappearing.
A lot.
Haven't met somebody that I know disappear yet.
Let's never hope that happens.
Yeah.
Because like we have the most missing people and kids more than anybody else.
Yeah,
that's
which
weird.
is crazy.
United States?
Yes.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You know how many kids went missing during the Biden administration? 400,000 in 1 year. What do you think the immigration was really about? Because you got all these people undocumented coming over for what? Oh, okay, let's let them all in.
Unaccounted for.
Unaccounted for. So we can have them do what? Slave labor. We can traffic them. We do whatever we want. And nobody's looking for them. Who's looking for them?
Right. Oh, man. Do you know anything about...
There's a movie about this in the 90s starring Jean-Claude Van Damme. I forgot his name.
What if I told you that for, let's say, $200 total, and I don't sell anything, you can buy it wherever the fuck you want to buy it from.
Yo, calm down.
But let's say about $200 and 60 days, and you'll be on your way to being born in 1978. I don't know what year you were born. And looking the best you've ever looked, feeling the best you've ever felt in your entire life. Go order everything I'm about to tell you from any website that you want. Amazon, the Farm Bill. I have my own website, but I'm not trying to sell you shit. I want you to go pay fucking more for it someplace else. Because everybody's so caught up in, is she trying to sell something? So these iodine drops, absolutely life altering. They're organic, they're clear, and I promise you that black stuff should come out of your body. Everywhere. Your nose, everything. Clove bud oil. Castor oil. Black seed oil. Oregano oil. I usually have a dropper of Simpson oil to explain to you the human endocannabinoid disruptions. You can't heal that by smoking it. You have to eat it. So I like to
Yo, how you gonna take all those oils though? How you gonna consume it?
Tell you that I have about this much cellulite left on my legs. That shit just melted out of my body. I wasn't working out, nothing. I just started working out about a month ago. So, and I mean, I don't lift weights or anything. So basically, now I can't eat without this. This stuff controls my appetite. It controls everything about me. My central nervous I have a stable central nervous system because there's a syringe on my website called Rick Simpson Oil, but you can order it anywhere. Just don't get it from a state dispensary because it's not spiritually approved. You have to order federal level, like high end, has to be ordered off the internet, and then it's shipped to your house, okay?
I live in Indonesia. I think that stuff is illegal here.
So it's a sticky residue substance. It's the entire plant, and this is how you're going to think of this. While you are detoxing all of these things out, and there's no professional method, okay? I'm going to show you right here. I use my nicotine, I'm camping, so I use my nicotine cup here. It says 5 drops. I put 10. I mean, I'm excessive though.
Oh, you put everything
I want you
together.
out of me. I want all the My battery died. I don't want to be hungry. I don't have hunger pains. Do you guys have hunger pains? If your stomach is any bigger, if this doesn't fill you up, you're in for a rude awakening because something big is coming. I'm telling you, you need to do this with your entire family. And you're going to do a 72-hour hard reset, and you're not going to eat any food. I haven't drank water in a year. So you could drink some of this tea. Aldi's has organic juice, $3.99. Stock up on those. Everybody should be doing this. And then when you go back to eat, your stomach is a hard-boiled egg. You won't even be able to eat it all.
I think she needs another pair of sunglasses.
This lion breaks all the rules, and the footage that proves it was never meant to be found. But recently, there was a team of scientists that went deep into the freezing Himalayas. While they're fighting through the blizzards, they notice a tall figure in the distance. As they approach it, they notice it was a camera. They grabbed it, and when they looked at the footage, they were stunned. The camera caught a massive lion moving effortlessly through the snow. Now, for years, they thought this creature was just a myth, but the monks in Tibet knew it wasn't. They call it the Tibetan snow lion, a legendary white lion that only shows up when times are crazy. So if that's true, what do you think it showed up for?
Mind-blowing.
Americans are famous for being infantile. We love to go out and have hamburgers and hot dogs and watch a ball game. And like with the kids. No, you're going out there because you are a kid. You are the kid. This is why in all ball games, always, football and basketball and I don't care, tennis ball and soccer. I mean, America loves ball games because we're just a bunch of children loving ball games. But in all the ball games, you will always see movie stars. They will zoom in on movie stars who are there at the game, or the president's there, or the senator is there with his wife watching the game. So it's like, oh, the adults are out watching the game with us kids, And they will have the president go out and throw the first ball. Daddy's coming out to play ball with us, I saw through that crap a long time ago. I don't care who's at the ball game. I want to know what these guys are doing at 2:00 in the morning. I want to know what they're doing at 3:00 in the morning in their secret meetings, planning the demise of my country and planning the destruction of human freedom. I want to know who these criminals are. I'm not interested to see them at a ball game. I'm not impressed with their ball games. I'm not impressed with them. And I don't like being played for a fool. And that's all America is doing, is playing everybody for a fool. It's about time we wake up and find out this ball game is over.
Are you not entertained?
So basically what you're telling me is a bunch of fucking hermaphrodites took over, trained you about air conditioning and gasoline and Botox. You married an NPC and you don't even know what the fuck it means. They have both genitalia. If it's born with a male skull, that's an obvious man, bro. They raise it as a woman and cut its situation off. They have all the parts.
No,
if
come
it
on,
has a
man.
female skull, they let it keep its situation. They remove its breasts over and
Bill Gates is a chick? Come on, man.
over. I highly suggest you watch the movie Avatar right now and figure out what the fuck is going on in this world. We didn't want nothing they had to offer, so they made money, stupid. Female, male. I speak from personal experience. The Kansas City Mafia, I had a baby with him. I didn't understand any of this until now. That's the skull of a fucking woman, bro. But he had a little penis and a uniball from
Get
after
outta
the
here.
operations. And they have to close it all up, stupid. Read the Epstein document about Epstein having the same fucking situation. Do I need to remind you that men and women are very different? Their bodies, okay? So if it was born with a male skeleton, they raised it as a woman. If it was born with a female skeleton, they raised it as a male. Now look at the size of the arms up top. Do you see the scar right here? Do you see what's going on? They say that all of these people are robots or CGI, that they're not even real humans. I don't know. Look at the fucking arm, bro. Top arm, shortened. Don't worry, they got fucking Kylie too. You see that scar? Girl, bye. Her arms don't even fucking hang right anymore. Oompa, loompa, doo 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 doo. That looks like fucking T-Rex. Leave yourselves alone.
My goodness. Why do they do this? Why don't they just let boys be boys and girls be girls?
Hitler may have moved to Argentina. There's documents of the FBI and the CIA looking into it. Some people are saying that's enough to speculate that he was in fact there.
Yeah.
And this could be mixed in with the whole Project Paperclip thing. Now we're at war with the Soviets during this whole Cold War era. So it's like we could use information from him. We could use the secret army or generals that he still knows in Argentina.
I even remember as a kid when they were like, oh yeah, he like committed whatever. I'm like, that sounds fishy.
But what do they do with his body?
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Russia took his body. The
That's a
USSR,
fact.
100% in fact.
Okay.
They took his body. They had all the dental records and stuff.
Mhm.
And they refused to let the United States test on it. At one point, the USSR, they did test it and it came back not Hitler. It was actually a female. Hitler seemed like an incredibly narcissistic
Now Hitler is a female.
person.
Yeah.
What?
I know that might shock
Come on.
some of you.
Come on.
Typically, people with narcissism don't unalive themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
It could be him. Could not be him. We'll never know.
I like to believe that he started
Put the stats on.
painting again in Argentina.
Is my great-great-grandfather. He was a 33-degree Mason. He actually built the first Mason lodge in Apopka, which is in Central Florida. On his deathbed, he basically repented and said like Freemasonry was straight up from the devil. A lot of people are like, well, it's just a club for a bunch of old dudes just want to hang out. It seems like the weird occult stuff happens when you hit the 33 degree.
And that would make sense. Yeah, you pull in a ton of people. Most of the time, it's just a guys club. But then it's like, obviously,
Leading
it has
some
this
super dark.
reputation. It's leading to something, for people they can really trust. I don't know how
Yeah.
it works, but I've sent in my application. I haven't heard anything back. So
That's weird.
we'll find out
man.
one day.
And it's very strange too how the Catholic Church, like the Pope, he condemns the Freemasons and basically saying you cannot be a Catholic if you are a Freemason. It's like the one sect of Christianity or a religious organization that has openly denounced Freemasons. And
Of all the things to put their foot down, the Roman Catholic Church, they set their foot down at the Freemasons. I don't know if that was a good starting point, but
Yeah,
it
it
says
was some other
something.
issues they should have been working on, but
In 2004, the British reality show There's Something About Miriam flew 6 men to Ibiza to compete for £10,000 in the affection of 21-year-old Mexican model Miriam Rivera. Throughout filming, the contestants were never told that Miriam was transgender. In the finale, after one man was chosen as the winner, Miriam revealed the truth on camera. The reaction was immediate. Several contestants later sued the production company, claiming emotional distress and deception. The case was ultimately settled out of court for an undisclosed amount, reportedly around £500,000 split among the contestants. Years later, in 2019, Miriam Rivera was found dead inside an apartment in Mexico at age 38. The death was officially ruled a suicide, though some of Miriam's family disputed the conclusion and believed there may have been other much darker circumstances surrounding it.
Crazy that was deemed okay for the men's dignity. It's appealing to trick them and for Miriam's safety.
Things humans were never meant to see.
Ew.
Sugar in your teeth is called a cavity. Sugar in a baby's brain is called ADHD. Sugar in an adult's brain is called dementia. Sugar in your skin is called aging. Sugar in your body is called cancer. Sugar in your blood is called diabetes. Sugar in your eyes is called glaucoma. Sugar and alcohol kill good gut bacteria. Seed oils in your skin is called sunburn. Acne on your skin is undigested food. Bad breath is actually a smelly, rotting gut. Body odor is the smell of your gut coming out your skin. Never sit like this, sit like this. Your cells are new every 90 days. If you eat electrical live food, this will regenerate your cells, which can stop aging. After 3 days of fasting, your body produces stem cells to regenerate the body. If you want to heal your body, get rid of the sugar, the dairy, and the meat, and stick with the fruits and vegetables.
After exploring the Malta catacombs, 17-year-old Mike Mansholt disappeared. He was found days later and all of his vital organs were removed. Here's everything you need to know about this case. Mike was a skilled climber and a seasoned traveler. He was from Germany and he was very excited to his trip to Malta. On July 18th, he rented a motorbike to go explore the mountains. He never returned to his hotel and he never got back on the plane to Germany. The company that he rented the bike from thought that he just ran off with the bike, and so they contacted the police. 8 days later, his body was found. Here's where it gets really messy and creepy. The Maltese authority closed the case almost immediately. It said that he had fallen, he broke his back, and then he passed away. When his body was brought back to Germany, the medical examiner said that he didn't have a broken back at all. Also realized that his body was hollow. All of his organs were removed. Heart, lungs, pancreas, stomach, small intestines, brain. They contacted the
Even brain?
authorities back in Malta, and they just said, oh yeah, the rats or cats ate the organs, and that his brain had liquefied in the heat. But there were no bites or any marks on his skin, and obviously these rodents have to enter in somehow. And a brain can decompose, but it can't just vanish without a trace. Like, it was as if it had never even been there. And then there was Mike's missing gear. Running out of time, come back for part 2.
Rest in peace. And seems he turned into an organ donor.
This is what they've been distracting us from. Wait for the end for solutions.
You're sounding the alarm
Yes.
for people that don't understand what the fuck is going on.
So here, I've pulled it up for you here. Yeah? His name's the Chancellor of the Exchequer. And here is the article. Bank of England tells ministers to intervene on digital currency programming. Digital cash could be programmed to ensure it is only spent on essentials or goods which an employer or government deems to be sensible.
Holy shit.
Now, I'm going to take it one step further for you, Joe, right? So the vaccine passport infrastructure is in place. But now we know that the vaccine doesn't stop infection or transmission, but the checkpoint Charlie exists everywhere. They bring in digital banking, central banking digital currencies. You've got a scenario now that you're checking in and out everywhere you go using vouchers that are programmed, and you can only spend where you're told you can spend them. There's another word for that, man. That's called the Chinese social credit system. Anyone who watches Black Mirror will know what I'm talking about. That's that TV show, right?
Yeah.
So what they are telling us, and when I say they, who's they? People in power. That's the head of our economy, the Chancellor of the Exchequer, second most powerful person other than the Prime Minister and maybe the Foreign Secretary in the UK, right? He's telling us, I just played it there for you. He's telling us that's what he, as the UK, the head of the G7, want to bring in for the G7. So a scenario where, like in New York at the moment, because the passport infrastructure is in place, you bring in that digital currency and you've got this total control. And if I'm speaking to you the way I'm speaking now, and my employer or government, you heard that in the quote directly, yeah, deems me as saying or doing something inappropriate, suddenly I can't actually pay to come here and speak to you anymore. My digital currency won't even pay for the ticket because it will be known that I'm coming to speak to you. Sorry, your vouchers don't allow you to purchase that ticket to go and speak to Joe.
It's starting. I didn't think it was going to start yet. I really didn't. I thought we still had some time, and I don't think we have time. I have this whole 2030 agenda guide. I'm going to give it away completely for free for the next 100 people that sign up to the class on how to become in a position, time freedom, money freedom, health. It is all related. I'm so fired up about this. I'm so frustrated. I'm so frustrated by this. Comment class. We need way more people in a position to do something about this. And it all starts with time freedom and the resources and financial resources to do such a thing. So comment class and I'll send you the info. The first 100 people who ask and get it after watching this reel are going to get the 2030 agenda totally free and some other bonuses for survival and prepping at the end of the class.
Time to rise up, people.
This story comes from local folklore and from accounts shared by soldiers who were stationed near the ruins of Babylon
Oh, I heard this story.
in Iraq in 2003. So Babylon, or Babil as Iraqis call it, is one of the oldest cities in recorded history. It predates Islam, Christianity, and even Judaism. It was part of ancient Mesopotamia, often referred to as the cradle of civilization. For thousands of years, people believed knowledge came from there. And Babylon has a pattern. Every empire that has tried to claim it has paid a price. Babylon doesn't belong to anyone, and it seems to punish those who forget that. When Staff Sergeant Matthew Hale was deployed to Iraq in 2003, he was stationed at a forward operating base near the ruins of the ancient city. The base was called Camp Alpha. And it sat directly on top of the archaeological site, the same ground where the Hanging Gardens of Babylon supposedly once stood. The Hanging Gardens were one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, built by King Nebuchadnezzar for his wife, rising above the city like a man-made mountain of green in the middle of the desert. Nothing like it had ever been built before. And over 2,500 years later, American soldiers were parking tanks on top of where it used to be. So during the day, the place looked like what you would expect from an archaeological site. Broken foundations, exposed brick, layers of civilizations built on top of one another. Soldiers walked past walls decorated with ancient dragons and lions. At night, some said those figures seemed to move when caught by a flashlight. But almost immediately, he noticed something that didn't sit right. It was equipment. Vehicles stalled for no clear reason. Radios lost signal, warning lights flickered and then went dark. At first, everyone blamed the desert heat. Sand gets into everything, military equipment breaks down. But the strange part was how consistently these failures happened whenever they moved close to the ruins, especially near the old temple area and a particular well. And then the screaming started. The first time Matthew heard it, he almost ignored it. He was on watch just after midnight, wearing night vision goggles and scanning the perimeter like he had done dozens of times before. The base was quiet, and then he heard a scream. It rose gradually, like something building in intensity. The kind of scream that sounds exhausted.
Mr. Boland told this story too. Interesting.
Forbidden City, China. They are guarded by these guys. Look really closely at what that paw is sitting on. Do you know what that is? That is knowledge that was guarded at all costs in every culture in the ancient world. To understand what this was, you had to go through a very intense process, training in many temples to become worthy of knowing. They guarded it so closely because learning it unlocks new pathways in the mind, a new way of seeing the world. They figured out a way to teach you everything you need to know about the universe using only a circle and a straight line. When you draw a bunch of circles and connect those lines, you can project it into 3D as this shape. It's the vector matrix. It's where our concept of the matrix comes from. Inside the circle is a tetrahedron, a 3-sided pyramid. It's the simplest shape you can draw to triangulate any point within any circle. Now, if that matrix is a fabric of space-time, we can grab that fabric and twist it down to create particle. This goes straight into the concept of the atom. The atom comes from the word atum in Egypt. Read that description. It's also the origin of ADM, atom, in Hebrew. So up here you can see the shape evolving into the icon that we know. That icon geometrically is the vector equilibrium. It's one of the most stable shapes because all lines and angles are exactly the same throughout the whole shape. That is an actual picture from IBM of an atom. Check out how closely all of those points hit on the electron clouds. Now the Bohr model makes a little bit more sense. If that wasn't weird enough, this knowledge goes smaller. That is a quantum carpet. They're used to visualize particle density and explain how waves become particles. Now all of these translate into complex math equations. If we mathematically map out the quantum carpet of a torus, we get that. Do you see a pattern here? In my last video, I showed you how the ancient Sumerians knew about this quantum wave interaction. So ancient Sumerians knew about this, ancient Chinese knew about this, ancient Hindus knew about this, Native Americans knew about this, ancient Egyptians knew about this, but you don't know about this. Do not worry. I wrote an entire book about it. It comes out in a couple days. It's the sequel to my last book, Codex Esoterica. If the last one blew your mind, this one will wipe it clean completely. Physical copies are on Amazon. Do not buy that one. That one was plagiarized. Or you can just go to the link in any one of my social bios and it will take you to all of the versions that I have available, digital, physical, all of it. I need a haircut real bad. So if you've been thinking about buying it, all proceeds go directly to my head.
Uh-oh, Logan Paul is saying stuff again, guys. This just happened. You know who this is. Watch.
Gone pretty viral in the past for sort of mocking faith and religion. I'll be honest with you, bro. Jesus Christ. Oh, God. So crazy because after I did that, I felt the wrath of God. Literally.
Pause. That's how I found God. Literally his wrath. It leads to repentance.
After I publicly mocked faith, God punished me. I love the forgiveness aspect of Christianity. I think it is such a powerful thing to do, to be able to forgive people. My faith journey started with One simple question. What would Jesus do? And I employed it and it worked. And I started opening my heart up to God and I started praying regularly and just
there you
being
go.
grateful for my life. And now faith plays a huge part of my life, and my conversations with God are very important to me.
Only God can do. Only God can do. Only God can do. Only God can do.
Actions speak louder than words.
If you have a cell phone, you're going to want to listen to this. They just passed a law in the United States of America for cyber stalking. Anybody with an account with a picture of you, impersonating you, making fun of you, even praising you, can get an automatic 5 years in federal prison for cyber stalking. Now, the IP address has to be obtained. No, that's not true. Anybody with a phone and an email, anybody that's ever set up an account, every email is linked to the phone and the very first email they ever set up, because they're so fucking stupid they keep logging into it. An IMEI number is the Epstein files. An IMEI number is the phone that they used or ever used. It all ties together. The Epstein files are connected to his driver's license, to the IMEI number. Just like when you get hacked and you have to call and you give Apple your IMEI number and then they're in your shit. I know fucking everything, bitch. So if you have a problem with cyber stalking and you need help getting to the bottom of it, just call me. Let's put him in prison.
Oh my God, I went down this crazy rabbit hole the other day. Have you ever heard of this dude named Phil Schneider?
That sounds familiar, but I don't think so.
He is like one of the original whistleblowers, and I'm gonna lie, I think he was probably like one of the first people that I've seen that talked about adrenochrome.
Really?
Yes. This dude is pretty much saying the elites, where they got that from, was from aliens.
Like the idea of doing that?
Yes. This guy pretty much says that he used to work for the government back in the day. Pretty much said that he had encounters with these aliens and that the government made this treaty with these other aliens that pretty much like they will exchange information to us and we will give them people.
What?
Yes. And the reason why he said that these aliens, they would get the adrenochrome from us and use it like a drug.
So they
For some reason, I believe this.
were getting basically high off of us.
High off of us. Yes. This dude literally said it's like cocaine to them. And then this guy said that he was with a Green Beret and they were going through these tunnels underground.
Yeah.
And that there were these aliens down there. And he said that they were almost having like a war down there. They got into this firefight. He said he killed like one or two of them. And he said that one of them hit him with this like blue beam. And he said like it left this huge scar on my chest. This guy has like no fingers left because he said he got hit with this beam and like his toes are all messed up and everything. The Green Beret guy helped him get out of there.
Yeah.
And then did tours and was doing all this stuff.
Yeah.
A year later, they find him at his apartment with strangle marks around his throat. He said that pretty much the treaty that they made with these aliens, that it ends around 2029.
The alien agenda is the complete takeover of this planet, the killing off of 5, 6 to 7/8 of the world's population by the year 2029. U.S. military has known about this for 45 years.
Alright, y'all wanted to talk more about sirens, so let's get into it. After reading in the book of Enoch that sirens are actually demons, and those demons are the mortal women that laid with fallen angels that came down to earth before Noah's flood. When I tell you guys my eyes have been peeled for spiritual knowledge, but I fell down this rabbit hole that I fall down almost every year, and that is siren TikTok. Now, as far as stuff like Atlantis, I'm not sure if I believe in that, but I do believe that there is a demonic marine kingdom, and some Christians will argue that there are ancient demons and celestial demons. And the ancient demons are the ones that live in the water. And a lot of people say that the Bible is pretty clear that there are water spirits, water demons, things of that nature. Because, for example, when the demon legion was cast into the pigs and they ran into the water, that kind of makes people think that maybe that's their domain. Some Christians even link Jesus walking on water to him basically asserting dominance over that spiritual domain and all the entities that are within it. Taking out all of that evidence, I am completely convinced that sirens exist, and I feel like they take many different forms. We spoke a little bit about Caribbean siren and how the rules are that you aren't supposed to wear anything shiny, like no jewelry or anything, no bright color, don't go to the water at night. We know all that. But let's look at another part of the world, Alaska. I don't know about y'all, but those dark waters in Alaska have always freaked me out. Come to find out, there is a lore about a water spirit called the Kalupalik. I'm about to show you a disturbing image, so trigger warning. These are said to be water spirits that wait by the edge of the ice for when Alaskan families are least expecting tragedy to hit. And when they turn their backs for a second, these evil, demonic entities grab the children and take them deep under the water, never to return. And they feed on the little ones to keep themselves strong. When I heard about this, guys, I got like this really bad feeling in my stomach. And I said in one of my other videos, you know that phobia of the ocean, thalassophobia, I think? I truly think that that is something that God put deep within us to warn us through our subconscious that this is somewhere that we should not tamper with. I mean, there's got to be a reason 95% of the ocean is still undiscovered. Also, the reason why I believe so much in sirens and those entities is because of the fact that throughout almost every single culture, religion, or kind of people, you find some kind of cautionary tale about the water and what resides in it. I don't know about you guys, but whenever you see a pattern like that, there's some kind of truth to it. I was thinking of making a series going through what sirens look like in different cultures. I don't know if you guys would be interested in that. As always, make sure you like and follow and comment down below if you want a new series.
Starbucks mascot.
Did you know that Nostradamus didn't just randomly write his predictions? He used a forbidden technique that connects to magic older than Christianity itself. In his secret chamber in France, Michel de Nostradam practiced something called scrying. This room still exists today, and what's inside is disturbing. Black mirrors, ancient astronomical tools, walls covered in mysterious symbols that most people have never seen. Historical records reveal his exact method. He would fast for days, then stare into the black mirror while burning specific herbs, hour after hour, until visions came to him. The chamber was sealed after his death, hidden away. But when it was rediscovered in the 20th century, everything was still there, his original scrying tools, untouched. But here's what makes this truly unsettling. His technique perfectly matches ancient Babylonian divination methods that were supposedly lost forever. This suggests Nostradamus had access to genuinely forbidden knowledge that predates everything we think we know about prophecy. The question is, where did he really learn these techniques? And what else was he able to see?
The #1 parasite responsible for mental illness worldwide linked to schizophrenia, anxiety, depression, OCD, suicidal thoughts, aggression, and risk-taking. It's called Toxoplasma gondii, and it's a brain parasite. It's found in contaminated water, undercooked meat, and cat poop. It's known as the parasite that hijacks your brain. This study in biological psychology linked toxo to increased risk-taking and poor impulse control. Here's another study that showed increased infection in patients with schizophrenia and suicidal ideation. And did you know that in mice, it makes them attracted to cats so that they get eaten and the parasite can finish its life cycle? If it's doing that to mice, what do you think it's doing to us? This parasite infects 1 in 3 people worldwide. It is common, and this is where the term the crazy cat lady comes from. A lot of people do not know they even have it. This is why I deworm myself and family regularly to prevent a parasite like this from becoming this far gone. If you want to know what we use, just comment deworm.
So Bill Gates has run away, in a manner of speaking. He put his house on the market. He canceled several gigs. He had confessed to sleeping with some Russian women. In all of my years of working with trafficked kids and working with, victims of trauma and doing pastoral care, usually when the truth starts coming out, it's way worse than what we think or what is initially said. So I think his behavior is very telling of probably all that is going to come out about him and his dealings with Epstein. I think there is a lot more than we know, and that is usually the case for that. My prayer is justice for the victims, always.
But still, not in prison.
Well, hello. So I've decided that I'm not from this timeline. This is not where I started from. I might exist here, but this is not where I began. I am done. I am from the timeline, where...
Man, look at them eyes.
Where monocles existed in Monopoly, cornucopias in front of the Luma underpants. I'm sorry, but Shazam was a movie, and Sinbad played the genie. I seen that shit 5 times that summer it came out at the Lincoln Heights movie theater in Spokane, Washington. It is people who are trying to get my brain on a different wavelength. I don't know if it's CERN. I don't know what it is. Black holes. I don't know. This is not where we're supposed to be. This shit is whack. First of all, we're in a time where people, anybody, even not a natural citizen of this country, can vote in a state. And we have to fight to get them to not. Like, what the I am from this new current timeline where time goes so fast. Like, y'all. There is no way 2020 was almost 6 years ago. Y'all, the sun does not even look the same anymore. I am not one of those weird conspiracy, but this is some weird shit. I can't. I am so done. Like, I just want to go back to normal times. I don't like this duplicate version. I don't like this secondary universe. It's and something happened to the liberals too. They got weirder. Shifted them to the left even more. I don't want to be here anymore.
Oh my goodness.
One place whose existence will never not feel just a little bit wrong to me is Yorktown Memorial Hospital, because tell me why people report a nun in there throwing people. And to understand why so many people would be reporting something as insane as this, you need to kind of understand the backstory and the history of the location. Because even though this hospital sits completely abandoned today, it is one of the main reasons that this town remains so haunted. So Yorktown sits in a very particular county in Texas that's known for farming, oil, and Catholic communities. And back in the early 20th century, if anyone was to suffer any kind of injury, traumatic childbirth, anything, they would have to go towns over to receive any type of care. And obviously for emergencies, this could mean death. Community leaders essentially came together and they were like, hey, we have to do something about this. Like, this is for our survival. Fundraisers were organized, local families donated money, and boom, they decided to develop a hospital. In 1950, the construction began, and by 1951, Yorktown Memorial Hospital first opened its doors. And this place wasn't very massive. Like, there was probably like 30 beds inside of there. It had 2 main floors and a basement, 2 wings, and a chapel in the very center of it all. But for this particular town, this was life-changing. And it was run by the Felician Sisters of the Catholic Church, which was a particular Catholic religious order who was known for running hospitals and churches all throughout the US. And the nuns actually lived inside the building on the 2nd floor. Babies began to be born here, people came for farming accidents and other injuries, and pretty soon this place was really woven into the town's identity. But it didn't take long for this small town to start to have rumors of scandal happening within the walls of the hospital/church. And while something like workplace drama is very, very common, I don't think anyone expected this to go a very deadly direction.
I heard about this hospital. I saw a group of people explore it on YouTube, I think.
Black nobility families. There are 22 of them. The Venetians have been up to no good for 800 years now. They're vampires. That's it. And they eat our babies. They take the placenta and the umbilical cords from the military hospitals, and then they jab them with 140 poisons and try to stop them from ascending. They're murderers. All the bloodshed that is happening goes back to these Venetian vampires.
Is the Grey Pope still active? And does he actually give the Jesuits their instructions? Or is it beyond that?
Yes, he does, but no one really knows. Yes, he's got power, and yes, he does pull the strings of the superior general of the Jesuits, who is the Black Pope, and the Jesuit White Pope, because they are Jesuits now, and they're not supposed to be popes. It's a council of 300. It can't be one man. There are 300, I wouldn't say men, I think they're trannies, and they're actually women who pretend to be men who run the world.
What nationality is Venetian vampires?
Are in control. Because basically we are not a political organization, we are an occult organization. We're working behind the scenes to manipulate the way that people think. The war that we are waging is a guerrilla war on the human mind. And we use musical frequencies, the dominant frequency, which I've referred to before, and symbolism and imagery to awaken dormant aspects of the human mind. And what we're waging is a cultural war right now on every front, in music, in literature, utilizing the media against itself. And we're using music because that's the instrument that young people respond to right now. We're doing propaganda directly to awaken the wolf in man. Politics is merely the puppet show of human beings, and we transcend that. But we are interested in the control of human beings for our own purposes. We have no concern for the homeless, particularly. We don't have any concern in helping people. As Adolf Hitler said, we seek to bring about a youth that has closed its heart to pity. All of the humanist values that Judeo-Christianity has encouraged, we want to wipe them out. It's led to democracy, social humanism, the idea of equality. All of this filth has to be wiped out if the human race is going to continue to take the next step in evolution. We're only seeking individuals who are competent and who are willing to take action.
The devil is explaining the deception of music and nobody cares to listen.
This is the coming great deception.
Yeah.
This will change everything. Because when they show up, they will tell us, we seeded all life on this planet. We genetically manipulated early man. We started the world's civilizations. We started the world's religions. Now at this critical juncture, a nuke going off. And what's going on in Iran right now? Tony,
Yeah.
I mean, anything's possible.
Yeah.
These guys are like a tiger back into a corner. Do they have nukes? We've heard they have no nukes. We've heard they have 11 nukes.
Mm-hmm.
We've heard they have 8 nukes, but there's no delivery system. You don't know what the truth is. Nobody does. All it takes is one nuke going off, and this sets up the greatest climate of fear that humanity has ever experienced collectively, because we're all linked together
Yeah.
with the internet, right? And
Yeah.
satellites all around us. That's when they show up. That's conjecture. That's the final rung. Pray to God we don't have that scenario. But what happens if on the 78th year of the Roswell event, July 8th, what if Trump stands up and goes, we're not alone in the universe?
Yeah.
Bam, game changer. Where's the church? Will the men please come forward and receive the morning offering? We're like, 30 years behind. It's very sad.
Yeah, I mean, the church, I 100% agree that there's a lot of churches that are not ready to deal with this. And there's a lot of reasons for that. One of them is that we have really devoided ourselves from any kind of supernatural understanding.
Completely.
It's just
sanitized.
Yeah. And so when you wipe that from your theology, your teachings, actually handing that down to the people attending your church and stuff, when this happens and this information comes out and they say, we're not alone in the universe, as a Christian, your response should be, no, duh. like scriptures shows that when they talk about NHI and these Christians that are going to be confused, they're like, oh, what do we do with this NHI thing? No, duh. Scripture talks about that. But without the proper framework, it's going to lead to a lot of confusion. And I think that there's people like you and maybe even myself with our platforms that hopefully can serve as a landing spot for education, I suppose, like understanding, that. Listen, I'm definitely not like a theologian on here telling you exactly how all the Hebrew and Greek breaks down.
Yeah, and that's not what we're supposed to be doing.
No, it's not my calling. But, what I've done is I've documented that there's a lot of strange things that people have been experiencing for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
If you can come to understand that, you're going to start having a framework for this.
The aliens are fallen angels.
Shout out Krista Farley. I got this from Sis's page. But this is what she be talking about, right? I want to explain this to y'all so y'all can have an understanding of what I mean when I say that it doesn't matter what the name or what the version that you think or what skin color you think is playing this character. The energy itself is the dragon energy. And as you said, look at there, Anna Hathaway is doing a movie on Mother Mary, talking about Mary, the goddess, Queen Mary, the Virgin Mary, Bloody Mary. And as you could tell, they have her playing as the Queen Draconia in heaven. These energies are going to come and act like they incarnated, right? The energy's always been here, but they're going to come through these people and they're going to say they are the incarnation of this version. And they're going to be high class people or very, influential people that you're going to see, and they're going to be as these saviors. Do you see what I'm saying? There's going to be one for Inky. There's going to be one for, and already people try to come out, but I mean, they're going to put them in position by this draconian elite. The Annunaki, who are living as these energies, not as just a race of people. Do you understand what I'm saying? We're way past that. The mystery schools, I've been telling y'all, it's not just black, it's not just white, it's made up of all different races. It's every different race. Y'all niggas gotta stop with this. It's just one race thing. We all know that. We all were, the first man was black. If y'all don't understand that, and yes, most of the things that happened in the beginning, these original mystery schools were black or melanated beings, but also it was the reptilian dragon humanoids. You see what I'm saying? They're playing this right in front of your face. So you can see how they're playing out the script, right? And they're hosting. They become skin suits. Do you see what I'm saying? This person right here, Anna Hathaway, the regular Anna Hathaway's been gone. the source that they call upon, the dragon energy that has possessed them, and they have given up their regular self. See, in religion, it'd be like giving up your free will, letting, all these different words. But this term that they're using, they allow the dragon energy to possess them, and then the person's gone.
Let's talk about the reptilians. Reptilians are an extraterrestrial race, interdimensional beings who originate from the Draco constellation, often referred to as the Draconian Empire. These beings are cold, calculated, and obsessed with control. Unlike the Annunaki Elohim, who evolved through light and higher consciousness, the reptilians evolved through domination, war, and survival of the strongest. They are masters of shapeshifting, mind control, and energetic manipulation. They feed off fear, division, chaos, and lower vibrational energy. Reptilians first came to Earth over 400,000 years ago, during the early stages of humanity's creation. They infiltrated during the fall of Atlantis and Lemuria, working behind the scenes to corrupt divine DNA and suppress human evolution. They secretly made deals with certain Anunnaki factions who chose power over purpose. The fall of Anunnaki helped them infiltrate governments, religious systems, and elite bloodlines that control the world today. The reptilians see humans as livestock, energy sources. Their agenda is total control over our Earth's resources, especially the most powerful one, human consciousness. They keep humanity distracted, divided, and enslaved through a system built off fear, false history, financial debt, and spiritual confusion. They do it because Mother Key, our Earth, is a portal planet, a sacred stargate to the cosmos. Whoever controls Earth controls access to the other realms. But here's the truth. Not all Anunnaki are corrupted. Many remain loyal to the original mission, to uplift humanity, to guard sacred knowledge, and to protect the divine blueprint within your DNA. Starseeds like you have reincarnated at this time to awaken that code. We are the keys to Earth's ascension. Our mission is to remember who we are, activate our divine DNA through meditation, sunlight, nature, and truth. We must expose the lies, speak the truth, even when it's uncomfortable. We must hold the frequency, stay grounded in love, light, and inner strength. We must reclaim Earth stargates, spiritually and physically align ourselves with the sacred grid. This is a spiritual war, but the light is rising, and we came here to win. If you feel this in your soul, you're not crazy. You're ancient. You're chosen. You're a starseed awakening in real time. The Great Awakening is here. The time to remember is now.
They are the royals and elite.
Rumored to be a whole flesh pit in Texas, but no one cares. And TikTok, these are just conspiracies that I'm bringing to light. Not saying that they're true, also saying I don't know if they're not. But does anyone think that that's not normal? There's even video games based off of this, and it's been rumored for a long time. If it did have some truth to it, then that would mean that Earth is alive and a being. Or at least Texas. When you think about it, that's where the most oil comes from in the country, is Texas. So is it oil to us and possibly something else to Earth? I don't know. Just a wild, wild thought. Like and comment and let me know what you think.
That giant or giants, look at a pink Himalayan salt mine.
Here are some companies that are currently poisoning us that know they're poisoning us and are doing it anyways. The first one is Colgate toothpaste. If you use Colgate toothpaste, they recently found large amounts of lead in the toothpaste. And the most disturbing part is they found the most amount of lead in the Hello Kids brand.
Oh my
Literally
goodness.
putting lead into our children's toothpaste that they put inside of their body because they swallow it. And then it can cause lead poisoning. Insane, okay? If that doesn't blow your mind, Shivani yogurt, the one that is labeled gut friendly, right, that we pay a lot of money for, actually has phthalates in it, okay? Phthalates causes cancer. It causes reproductive issues. It causes a slew of things. Actually insane. I think of all the people out there trying to conceive, trying to get pregnant, like, you could have phthalates in your body stopping you from being able to, like, reproduce. Like, it's ridiculous. It infuriates me. Last but not least, we have Starbucks coffee. Starbucks is being sued, and this one really gets me going because it is the decaf coffee. Who drinks decaf coffee? People who are pregnant, people who are elderly, people who have diabetes, people who already have, like, are at, like, a vulnerable state. Starbucks found VOCs. They found VOCs in Starbucks coffee. The decaf beans, specifically. Actually insane. VOCs is the same thing as in paint, as in nail polish remover. So bad for you and can cause cancer. All three of these products knowingly are poisoning us and knowingly are hurting us. And yeah, we're getting away with it for the most part. Not anymore because they are being sued. So hopefully now they will make better choices. But if you are interested in joining the class action lawsuit, the website that I used was claimmoney.com. I filed for all of these on that website, and it is still open and active. So I highly recommend it. And I highly recommend telling everybody you know because, yeah, this is horrible.
You can go all the way back to the war between the states. But it was a deal. It was all a deal. Auguste Belmont, a registered agent of the Rothschild banking family in Europe, came to this country and quickly became the leading seller of bonds for the federal government. Even Chancellor Bismarck of Germany is on the record as saying that the war in the 1860s in the United States was contrived to split the country in half so that they could regain North America for the bankers in France and Britain. And if you'll stop and think about it, where was the bulk of the British Army? It was in Canada. Where was the French Army? Mexico, under Maximilian. So they were going to let the North and South bleed each other dry, and then they were going to move in. There's only one man who seemed to understand what was going on, and that was the head Yankee, Abraham Lincoln. I think he understood what was happening. And that's why he became the first American president to print his own money, known as greenbacks. You know, there's only been one other president in the history of this country that tried to print interest-free money. John F. Kennedy. And I don't think it's a coincidence that both of those presidents were shot in the head. You might want to be aware that the first third party in the United States was the anti-Masonic party.
So now the question remains, what the heck do we do about it?
Jeffrey Epstein has leaked email of people going out and doing hunts.
What?
Hunting for pleasure. All hunting them like game.
The heck?
There was actually a woman that's leaking the information of what she said was a Rothschild's hunting trip, right? And specifically certain types of people too, which makes it even more disturbing. This is to Epstein, going to Mean Lana's party now to hunt. Why would you be going to a party to hunt? Snipe hunt is over. Moon cricket in a field bag. And then the bottom is so messed up. Look, guess what? Their words.
No.
Yeah. That's what they're saying in the email. There's speculation they would take a whole bunch of throw them into like a forest on a deserted area enclosed where they can't escape, and they would hunt them like game. And what's even more crazy is what if this was the first step before consumption?
It makes sense.
There's no exact proof yet where these locations were.
Okay.
And I don't think necessarily was the island.
Yeah.
Thanks. Thrilling hunt from Ariane de Rothschild. Amazing old male. Amazing hunt.
What the?
She's talking about who she got.
Truth is in movies. Wake up, people. Reality is scarier than fiction.
They said she looked like a caterpillar because they took her arms off. And the way her skin was shedding made her look like a caterpillar. She was still alive. I have never heard of the atrocities as evil as Marie Dupree. Like, that is the fucking bro, the shit that I heard. I believe that's what they used to make American Horror Story. Because, man, that shit is crazy. She had chained like slaves chained up in this torture chamber, gouged eyes out, literally stuffed their mouths with shit, like it sewed it shut, like weird ass fucked up shit she did to our ancestors. And honestly, the history of it's just literally is heartbreaking. This is the book, Black AF History. Like I said, everybody should get this book. The history of the story behind the American Horror Story woman that had the slaves, like, it's so much shit to that. Like, it honestly is disgusting. And it happened in New Orleans, Louisiana. Her name was Marie Delphine McCarty at birth. And she was born in New Orleans, Louisiana on March 19th, 1787. She's an Aries. Now, she was born basically by rich French family, and during that time, it was the French colonial period. Her parents lived in a prominent Creole community, and she was wealthy. She first got married when she was 13, second got married when she was 21, and her third marriage was after that. Now, she began enslaving people in 1834, and the weird thing about this shit is the fact that in person and in public, she seemed like she was really nice to Black people. I don't know if this was a way to like lure them or make them feel like more comfortable with her at first. But behind closed doors, she was known to have some of the most brutal torture methods of Black slaves than any other person in history. Now, this happened between 1831 and 1834.
That's
The
not
things I
her,
will
right?
tell you will be triggering to some people. So if you get triggered, just keep scrolling, okay? It says that the youngest person that she tortured was 12 years old. Her name was Leah, and she was a slave girl. They said that she was brushing her hair, or Leah was brushing her hair and snagged. At some point, she got upset. This sent her into a rage. She chased Leah around the house with a whip, and Leah fell off of the 3-story window and died. Now they put her into like a cellar in the house, and she was found later on. Forgive me, that little girl was 8. She had another slave girl that was 12 years old that she tortured and left in the torture chamber. Now the girl's body was subsequently buried on the mansion grounds. She lived in this huge mansion, and I'll show y'all a picture of that. It's still up to this day. It's considered to be one of
the 2030 agenda. We have less than 4 years to stop them, or it's too late. This is what they want to do. And by the way, if we don't stop them, me and you, we have no future. So they want a one world government, a one world currency, a one world military, end of sovereignty, end of private property, end of the family unit, mandatory vaccines, universal basic income, microchip tracking, and a global social credit system. By the way, this is already planned, like this is not a conspiracy. It's all written down. But conveniently, it's written in their own words, so they're packaging it like it's convenience, of course, like always. They are openly telling us what they are doing. Are we gonna tolerate this? Are we gonna just let this happen? Are we gonna be stupid, low IQ and compliant? Or are we gonna fight for our rights, for our sovereignty? On this side of the internet, that's exactly what we're doing. So if you want to learn how to survive in this upcoming system, you are in the right place.
They can kiss my ass. My trust is in the return of Jesus Christ.
Project Bluebeam, by the way. Have you ever heard of that? Yeah. The whole idea is this. They want to make a one world government. How are we going to do that? We're going to get a whole bunch of aliens that aren't actually aliens. They're going to look like ships in the sky from these holograms, and they're going to attack. And then they're going to put Jesus Christ up there, and he's going to tell everyone, I'm going to save you. You must follow this man. They put whoever this guy is in charge. He stops the aliens, right? And after that, changes it to a one world government. I pick up a guy. It was a rideshare call.
The Antichrist.
Military Marines. And he says, hey, man, since I'm never going to see you again, Project Bluebeam, it's real. What the fuck? And then he closed the door, dude.
You are not ready for what I found in the Epstein files. Remember when I went on Dr. Phil and said that Taylor Swift could be a clone?
I do believe in the example of Taylor Swift. There is a theory that Taylor Swift is a clone, and that ties back into the Church of Satan. You have Anton LaVey, he was the founder of Church of Satan, and his daughter, Zena LaVey, who is on record talking about how they use music to control people. And she has an uncanny resemblance to Taylor Swift. What are the odds? I think very slim.
Well, in the Epstein files, there's actually a lot of talk about clones and cloning. Like here, attached is the doc you requested. It's the use of funds spreadsheet for the designer baby and human cloning company. I assume they didn't show Zena LaVey's image on Dr. Phil because then people might be like, wow, her and Taylor Swift do look alike, and they don't want people asking questions and then looking into the symbolism and realizing cloning facilities might actually be real. Reality truly is stranger than fiction, and if you don't think this stuff is happening, I don't know what to tell you. But I don't know. I'm just a conspiracy theorist. Let me know what you think.
Don't call yourself a conspiracy theorist. At this point, we're conspiracy absolutes.
This device was banned by the Rockefellers in the 1800s, and this is copper tensor glasses, and they would use this device to enhance their eyesight and remove headaches in the 1800s, because we are electrical beings and we run on electricity. Therefore, when you wear copper, the greatest conductor around a specific body part, the copper enhances the energy flow of that area, instantaneously healing that area. So if they had knee pain, they would wear copper around their ankles. And if they suffered with poor eyesight or headaches, they knew that they should wear copper around their head, which is why these devices were used in the 1800s and are actually known as the original glasses before the ones we use today, which we know make people worse because it's $1 trillion industry. And they also knew to add crystals in the center of the glasses because they knew that crystals also emit healing frequencies, such as amethyst, which emits frequencies which can help with mental clarity. And so when they were wearing these glasses on their head, the amethyst would sit in the center, which would then also instantaneously heal that individual. So if you've ever wondered why these glasses are no longer sold, it's because the elites found something out about copper they don't want you to know.
I heard if you drink from a copper cup, it's very beneficial for you.
Do not search up what happened in the year 1913. That's the year they took over, and just 1 year later in 1914, World War I started. Actually, you might not even be able to search up what really happened in 1913 with mainstream search engines like Google. So instead, I head over to Emergent so we can make our own unfiltered, uncensored, and ad-free search engine that tells us everything. Just tell it something like, build me a search engine that filters out ads, paid search indexing, and shows us the deep buried info of the internet that popular search engines censor from us. There we go. We just built Truth Search. Well, let's give it a shot. What really happened in the year 1913? Let's go. So first up, we got the Federal Reserve, which officially began on December 23rd, 1913, when President Woodrow Wilson signed the Federal Reserve Act into law. There's a source link, and yep, we have an overview of the Federal Reserve right there. Which, funny enough, the Federal Reserve happens to be neither federal nor a reserve. The misleading naming of which was actually very intentional. So what exactly is it? To put it simply, it's a centralized private bank that controls all of our money and determines its value. That's step one. Next, we have the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service, the government's official extortion agency, aka give us money or we'll throw you in jail, that was also created in 1913. That's the year they started taxing us for good, making federal income tax permanent and by law with the 16th Amendment. For all the high IQ big brains out there, I think you know where this is going. If not, let me spell it out for you. Because that very same year, the Rockefeller Foundation was also created under the guise of philanthropy, making the world a better place, by John D. Rockefeller, America's first billionaire, while at the same time highly influencing the research and development of education, medicine, and science in the country through generous donations, leading to the creation of new organizations like the American Cancer Society, ACS, which was also founded in 1913, a charity funded by the richest people in the country to pave the way to the start of the pharmaceutical industry. Enter Big Pharma. The ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, which tells people what they can and can't talk about, censoring ideas they don't agree with and silencing critics, was also created in, let's hear you say it, 1913. And then just a year later in 1914, we get the start of World War I, the first war in history in which private companies profited from wartime efforts. Say hello to the military-industrial complex, giving the newly formed Federal Reserve the perfect excuse to start printing more money, leading to the decline of the value of the US dollar ever since. And yeah, we can see that right here in this chart, which starts and was at its peak in 1913. Inflation, which started in 1913, while they try to convince us that it's a normal thing that every economy experiences. If anyone ever asks who they are, well, this is exactly who. 1913 in a nutshell. And if you want to create your own apps that filter past the censorship of big tech search engines, or just about any other app idea you can come up with, try out Emergent for an easy way for you and I to seek the truth.
It all happened at the Titanic.
Across the earth, we find structures that don't make sense. Doors 20 feet high, steps too tall for a human stride. Stones weighing hundreds of tons, carved and moved with impossible precision. Historians say these were built by man, but what if the truth is much bigger? Ancient texts tell of a race of giants. And according to legend, they built the world that came before ours. Look at the architecture of the old world, the grand arches, the enormous windows, the doors built for something far taller than we are. It's as if we inherited a world made for giants, and we've been living in their ruins ever since. If this is true, it would mean history was rewritten.
For a long time, we have been told that mountains are just made of rock and soil created by nature over millions of years. But if you look closely at this specific mountain in Alaska called Mount Susitna, you can see the perfect shape of a woman's body lying down. And by the way, this isn't AI generated. Look it up yourself. Some believe these aren't just rocks, but ancient giants petrified by a massive disaster. But that's not all. The proof is in the Himalayan salt. While we're told it's from an old ocean, this theory suggests it's actually the dried blood of these titans. That deep pink color? It's the iron from their blood that crystallized into stone over thousands of years. While scientists say these shapes are just a trick of the eye called pareidolia, and that the salt is just mineral deposits, many people believe we are living on top of a world of giants.
The Smithsonian is responsible for hiding most of the discoveries of giant humans. They don't want people to know about these giants because it goes against the evolution theory. The skull used to be on display in Winnemucca, Nevada until a few years ago when they took it down. It's in the basement. You have to specially ask to see it. A giant human skull. Here's a normal human thumb bone. Underneath is a giant human thumb bone. We've got a replica of a thigh bone in our museum from a guy that would have been about 13 feet tall. These jaw bones are on display at a hotel in Turkey, 6.5 inches across the TMJs. Any one of you could put your head inside the jaw and bounce it around. Waukesha, Wisconsin found a human skull 3 times the size of ordinary humans, found in an Indian burial mound. This is a giant block of rock. Who on earth is moving these things? Consider that's a camel in front of it for scale. Who's cutting and moving these things? This is a 39-pound axe head. Swing a 10-pound sledge for a few minutes and see why I'm wondering who's swinging a 39-pound axe head.
Why is the Smithsonian so obsessed with buying up old farm plots in the Midwest?
Because they aren't buying the land, they're buying the silence. In the late 1800s, hundreds of local newspapers reported farmers digging up skeletons in mounds that were 16, 18, even 19 feet tall, and these are the golden ratios too.
And let me guess, the Smithsonian took them for study.
Every single time. Then those records just stop. If you look at the Great Serpent Mound or Cahokia, the engineering doesn't match the tools of the time. We're talking about massive earthworks aligned with lunar cycles. Look at the scale of the doorways and the weight of the stone.
So why hide the bones?
Because if you admit there was a superior race of humans before us, the entire evolutionary progress narrative collapses. It proves we're a downgraded version of something greater.
Well, by the way, the Smithsonian is an extension of the Vatican, okay? Really? I'll tell you right now. And I'm not going to tell you how I know that, or, believe me. Take it to the bank. Just keeping people stupid. We're easier to control if we're dumber and believe a lot of lies and everything,
They are so scared of the truth coming out because everything they said were built on lies.
A, dolphins can make like little smoke rings that are made of water. And B, what do you mean that this man was underground for 3 days straight with no oxygen tank, taken against his will by 3 dolphins to build an underground city? So long story short, this Florida man was swimming in the ocean. 3 dolphins approached him. They took him really far out where he couldn't see anyone else. And then 40 feet under the water, he was there for 3 days. He was basically building an underground city for them. He was communicating with them with they were clicking to him, and then that's how he knew what they were saying. And then when he came up to the sand, he started making a blueprint of everything 40 feet under. And he's not even done yet. They told him that they're going to take him back for phase 2. But for phase 1, these 3 days, they were very satisfied with the work he did. We don't know how he was breathing, but I'm assuming that, dolphins can make like air pockets, like air bubbles. Maybe a dolphin was near him and he was breathing that way. But when he went to the hospital, there was not really any collapsed lung damage, but he was 40 feet under the water and everything overall was okay. Like he had some stuff in his lungs, but nothing that was like too concerning. He was just dehydrated. But I'm like, what do the dolphins need? Why do they need Atlantis in the water in Florida? Also, it is illegal. It is illegal to interact with dolphins because a lot of people are saying that you can either get salmonella, you can get other diseases, and also they hold ancient secrets. So this man speaks dolphin. That's what I'm getting from this.
Synthetic birth control has been a plague on the earth. Hormonal birth control was legalized in the 60s and made legal for non-married people in 1972, the same year as Roe v. Wade. They manipulate the endocrine system, also known as the chakra system, manipulating women hormonally, violating brain chemistry and causing long-term harm. Since it's closing the creative portal and tampering with cortisol levels, it creates depression. It completely changes a woman's taste in men, making them want more genetically similar men and less masculine men. It creates a false sense of control instead of actual control. This contrived control makes women more likely to settle for weaker challenges. Nearly 1 in 5 women had debilitating symptoms in the early studies, even fatalities. There were high rates of mood disorders and low sex drive because the creative portal was closed, but this was all commonly dismissed. The pill is also a nutrient robber and destroys the gut bacteria. The pill interferes with the body's ability to absorb and utilize folate, which is critical for DNA synthesis. The pill increases the body's stress responses, which depletes magnesium, zinc, and selenium. It suppresses antioxidants and promotes oxidation. It decreases microbial diversity, which creates parasites. It contributes to leaky gut, yeast overgrowth, and poor digestion. And it makes women more at risk for breast cancer, cervical cancer, and brain tumors. The pill shrinks the hypothalamus, which is the master gland of the endocrine system, and it thins the gray matter in your brain. It depletes the serotonin levels, which contributes to the depression, and it distorts the body's ability to recover from stress. Even worse for you if you start younger. It doubles cortisol. It essentially robs you of your womanhood. Condoms have forever chemicals, are carcinogenic, and disrupt hormones. Everybody is allergic to latex and spermicide, but some are more sensitive than others. If you think you need a condom, just be friends. Condoms cause a litany of problems. Condoms also
I like that. If you think you need a condom, just be friends.
cause micro tears, which can create STIs, and IUDs are toxic. And vasectomies and tube tying make you depressed. And being with the wrong person is a form of synthetic birth control. Being with someone that doesn't activate you creatively is synthetic control. And casual sex is a form of birth control. You know you'll never be challenged creatively by the people you have casual sex with. It literally makes you sick and confused. You can only experience yourself through creation. That's why a lot of people block creation. That's why the wrong relationships kill your creative hobbies and interests. The creative portal has been closed. Injections are even more devastating. It weakens the bones. It could potentially make you infertile for life. All hormonal birth control causes fluid retention and increased appetite. The pill comes with fake folate, which feeds cancer and silences genes. Because vitamin extracts are isolated and toxic, hundreds of millions of women are on birth control. Hundreds of millions are on the pill. This has completely altered the creative process on Earth. Breath and Tantra are the true birth control. The breath is the compass and the protection. When you're in alignment with the breath, you're in alignment with the source of breath. Your entire being transforms when you're in alignment with creation. Contrived control causes fragmentation and self-hate.
There is a warning that is being issued to literally anybody on the planet that owns an iPhone, and you need to make sure that you watch this. So there's a serious Apple security flaw that's going viral after police and security experts have now started to warn people to change one specific setting immediately. Don't worry, I'm obviously going to tell you which setting to change. This doesn't just affect iPhones, by the way, it actually affects Macs, Apple TVs, CarPlay systems, and basically anything else that uses AirPlay. What's crazy about your phone getting hacked with AirPlay right now is that the hackers don't even need your phone. They don't need you to click anything at all. If they're on the same Wi-Fi network as you, which could obviously be in public at hotels, apartments, airports, and coffee shops, they can scan your Apple devices with AirPlay left open and visible. Security researchers are saying that this exploit lets attackers access devices in seconds using Apple's own AirPlay system. You will not get a notification and you will not see a pop-up. You literally will not know what's happening. AirPlay is just automatically turned on by default for a lot of people, and most people never even touch the settings, so that's why this is so dangerous and why a lot of people are getting this right now. All you need to do to change this is to make sure your device is fully updated and then go to Settings, General, AirPlay, and Continuity, and then set automatically AirPlay to never.
Oh, there you go. Hey, but don't just connect to random free Wi-Fi. Use your own data.
When I get into Freemasonry, the way it works is, think of it this way. Think of it as a play with actors, and all of the officers, like say in the Blue Lodge, are actors, right? So you go in and you're a candidate, and it's like you're participating in a mystery play. And of course, you don't know what's going on, so you're just passively led through the whole thing. But then you have to go through the series of rigorous tests to show that you've learned. Think of it this way. If you go into the Blue Lodge, there's a whole series. You've got what's called the Entered Apprentice degree, the Fellowcraft degree, and then the Master's degree. Each one of those has what's called the Catechism. And what the Catechism does is a series of questions and answers that guide you through everything that you did in this ritual. Now, the ritual, think of it as a play in 3 acts with, say, 7 actors and then the candidate. So there'd be a total of 8, right? Each degree you add to what you previously learned.
It's a form of mind control.
Say there are witches in the mountains of Escazú, Costa Rica. The witch cave is there, up there at the point.
That's where they say that the witch used to live.
So I came up here with a couple Ticos I met. Do people still go up there?
Yeah, they do.
Who said they knew the mountain?
Actually, if you look at it, it kind of looks like a tiny house.
You pulled out a drone. Let's see what this drone picks up in the mountains of Escazú. They didn't find any witches, but they found something that warrants more investigation. That does not look like rock, man. That's round. Let me show you what I'm talking about.
Look at those marks on it.
Yeah, those are straight lines. There are no straight lines or perfect circles in nature. That does not look like a rock. That looks like the foundations of a castle. What the hell are those?
There is like this pillar coming out of it.
That looks like a foundation.
If I get close here, there's actually like a hole.
That looks like a cave to me.
I'm sure that the whole thing might be hollow inside.
A cave with a trail. Is that a trail at the bottom?
There's a trail, and look.
Tom's walking up there, for sure.
Yeah.
What the hell is in this weird mountain? Now, where is that in relation to where we are right now? In this very protected country still covered in jungle.
It is right there. This mountain is right there.
I think I gotta go find out.
Let's go to Costa Rica. I'm just kidding. Like they said, curiosity killed the cat. So stop caring.
What if Bigfoot, the bottomless snowman, and a lot of these creatures, they're interdimensional beings?
What does that mean?
They can travel in between dimensions. If you look at the 411 map of the United States of America, so it's all of the places that's been reported of missing people and all the hot spots all over the states.
Yeah.
It immediately corresponds to all Bigfoot sightings ever. Line up exactly to Bigfoot sighting areas.
Really?
People think, what if Bigfoot is just maybe walking through portals?
Yeah.
Or people are walking through these portals. And that's why you see them for a bit and disappear. That's why they can never track them down.
I want to walk through this portal.
Epstein, wasn't just getting girls and young women. He was getting, all these scientists. It seemed that they were looking at particular bloodlines and particular blood types and harvesting eggs and, doing eugenics and transhumanism and baby farming and stuff like that.
There was a woman who was a victim of him.
She had been trafficked 4 times. The last time she got taken to Zorro Ranch. Epstein didn't put her there. She said that he gave her what she felt like was a pelvic exam. And then this survivor woke up on a medical table with, medical instruments up above her. And when she got back to South Africa, she had a wound here in her belly.
So much talk about hybrid alien and human breeding programs now. That's crazy.
Okay, so what do we have right here? What you're looking at is Laughing Horses Orifices Headquarters, LHOHQ. This is an extremely unsettling website that I decided to just jump into without doing any research. Firstly, on the homepage, we have this unsettling picture of this guy in a Mickey Mouse mask. The first thing that I decided to do was to inspect. You can see the name of this image, Atlantic Research Corporation and the UFO Phenomenon. This also unlocked a ton of words that appear to be biographies of maybe the people in the pictures, but all of these people are in association with the U.S. military in some way. We also have this text up here that seems to want to be hidden, but it says, for Sequel pension-related information, contact Bank of New York Mellon at this number. And any other pension-related inquiry. I don't know if that has any significance yet, but we also have this link in Russian or something. I'm just going to click it and see what happens. Okay, all the link brought me to was a picture of this guy with Ronald McDonald. And now inspecting this image gave us a series of cryptic letters regarding UFOs and stuff. It's a lot. I need to do more research on this, so expect a part 2, maybe a long-form video on YouTube. But if anybody knows about this, let me know.
The Mellons are one of the 13 families.
He claims something that could rewrite everything we know about history. And his videos might actually prove it. In one clip, he's standing in front of a massive wooden structure he says is the real Noah's Ark under construction. Animals climbing the ramp, workers everywhere, and he even points to someone he calls Noah himself. Then his footage jumps to the Titanic during the disaster. Water flooding the decks, people running everywhere.
And he does all that with that haircut.
Okay, hold on a second. Did you know that ancient statue, there's monuments and all kinds of crazy stuff in India? Well, this is at the one temple that's made out of a single giant slab of granite or bedrock. Did you know that some of the stuff in there, if not all of it, is actually supposed to be movable? It's supposed to spin around, but it's all seized up. And we're talking about, is this ancient scalar technology? Is this ancient sound wave technology? Why does this stuff look exactly like a jet turbine? Did they copy? Is it nothing under the sun is new? It's all been recreated and remade. You know what I'm saying? Someone's saying these were machines that have been petrified and otherwise may have lit up the ancient world. Well, all I know is this. If we can't even come close to building anything like this today, despite being at the peak of science and technology, you should wonder if we've been lied to about the true history of the Earth. And perhaps part of that lie has to do with the fact that they're telling us right now fluoride and GMOs are so good for you, and that you shouldn't worry about the trails in the sky because it's just condensation. Meanwhile, people are getting full of heavy metals more than ever before in human history, which reacts with the cell towers, by the way, because the cell towers emit electromagnetic frequencies and the heavy metals are conductive. They interact. Think of metals and magnets. This is why it's imperative to be detoxing the
Fallen angels technology.
Scientists just released a map of what's underneath Antarctica's ice, and it turns out that we knew more about the surface of Mars than we did about our own planet this entire time. So scientists have actually just released the most detailed map that we've ever made of the landscape underneath Antarctica's ice, and I think this is a moment that everybody's been waiting for. What they were able to find is actually insane because they found mountains, deep canyons, and over 72,000 hills that nobody knew was there. The team used satellite images and physics calculations to figure out how ice bends and flows over hidden obstacles. They're saying that by analyzing the surface, they could basically reverse engineer what the ground underneath looked like, kind of like a silicone mold. One channel that they were able to discover is nearly 400 kilometers long and 6 kilometers wide, and they're saying that it connects to an ancient drainage system from millions of years ago. They're saying that there are sharp mountain ridges, steep valleys, and plateaus that have been frozen in place for longer than humans have existed. Okay. They're saying that these structures actually affect how fast glaciers slide towards the ocean, so the rougher the terrain, the slower the ice moves. So this map could literally and entirely change all of our predictions about sea levels rising, which is insane. We are somehow, to this day, still discovering our own planet. But we know a lot about the surface of Mars, though.
Want it explored? Tell the US you found oil in it.
Did y'all hear that story about the Hubble telescope and what it's found? According to NASA, they found nebula. But I want you to take a look at it, see if it looks like anything familiar to you. Nothing. Let's zoom in. Do you see anything that looks a little familiar? Still nothing? Let's zoom in some more. What about now? Outside of looking completely strange and odd,
there's an eye of an angel.
What does this look like to you? Possibly this. Maybe from the stories you heard about this. Yeah. A real version of this. Or maybe a painting that you've seen of this. I mean, I'm not trying to say that they found an angel, especially a particular angel that guards the gates of heaven, known as the seraphim. But I'm also not saying they didn't. Oddly, they also found this, which has been rumored to be heaven. I don't know what it is, but I know it's a community, and I know it's in space, and it's not on Earth. Either way, can we give it up for that telescope? Because it's finding things that we didn't even know they could actually find. I don't know what it is. All I know is it's pretty unique to find. A giant eyeball surrounded by some type of wings or rings in space. Come in and let me know what y'all think.
Do you want to know the blueprint that started all elite human trafficking islands? Just like the infamous Jeffrey Island. So I did some digging about known PDF file islands, and I found something very interesting. I looked into Deer Island, which is owned by the Skull and Bone, and Great St. James, which is a smaller version of Little St. James, owned by Epstein. And there are other islands that I'm looking into, but it seemed that everything took me back to Fox Island, which may be interesting because I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with North Fox Island. It was ran by a man named Sheldon, and Sheldon found lots of boys that were underprivileged, and he worked at a lot of Catholic schools. And just like Lane Maxwell, he reached a plea deal if he named the 600 men that were customers of this island. And as far as I'm concerned, we still do not know those 600 men. But amongst that, he released his blueprint of how he found these men and how he created the island. And this blueprint inspired another sick individual that you guys may not have heard of. Meet Reverend Claudius Vermeil Jr. This man purchased a property in Pall Mall, Tennessee, which was a farm. He gained a lot of respect in his community because he was a World War I hero. So they opened up an orphanage for misplaced boys. This property was funded by a lot of sponsors. And because he was inspired by the blueprint provided by Sheldon, he produced thousands of child abuse material, specifically for the sponsors. The youngest is believed to be at least 11 years old. And because he was inspired by Sheldon, he provided the most perfect recipe for all of his wonderful sponsors. As promised, I will be diving more into islands, but I found this incredibly interesting because there is a literal blueprint for PDF files to abuse children on an island or an orphanage.
It's all ran by a bunch of pedos. Wake up!
This woman is the one who had incriminating evidence on Prince Andrew. Her testimony is valid and legit. I want you to listen to this.
Epstein's island was hell disguised as paradise. You've heard some names linked to him, but those are just the sacrificial pawns. The real players, the ones they've protected at all costs, are still hiding in plain sight. The first A former US president, Barack Obama.
No
Publicly,
way.
he's revered. Privately, he was one of the worst. He wasn't there for the girls. He was there for the island boys. Young boys, trafficked
But I don't think his name on the list though.
and groomed. I saw him more times than I can count, always without his Secret Service detail, sometimes with his Hollywood friends, George Clooney and Tom Hanks. I still have nightmares about them, arrogant and drunk on power, slinking into the cabanas with kids barely out of childhood.
She knew they were going to kill her. And she even said it, she had it all set up that like, if she had like a life alert that if she didn't check in or she missed it twice, it was like going to release all this information out that she had because she knew that that was what they were trying to accomplish. And so to know this about him, I just pray that justice is done. I want to see justice done.
No wonder, Barack and Michelle have been so strangely quiet.
I'm a conspiracy theorist, but you don't have to be one to understand that our history may not be exactly what they tell us. Did you know that all of the major cities in the United States had catastrophic fires in the 1800s and early 1900s that may not seem like much until you realize before the fires, this is what the cities looked like. We're told these magnificent buildings were just wood and plaster and thrown together in a couple of years for world fairs. But look at how massive these buildings were. This is Buffalo, New York, and we're supposed to believe this was built with horse and buggy and was just a temporary building? Does this look temporary to you? Something is not adding up. San Francisco also had a real treasure island, and this was Chicago, the White City. This is what's left of it. All destroyed in mysterious fires or controlled demolition. If you knew what we were taught in school wasn't exactly accurate, you might have some questions, like I do. Like, what could they possibly be covering up by burning these beautiful buildings to the ground? Maybe that giants once existed. Maybe that energy is actually free and can be harvested from the ether. Or maybe creatures we are told are mythological actually existed and still do. Maybe that our maps are wrong and the stories that we read about in the Bible actually took place here. But I don't know. I'm just a conspiracy theorist. Let me know what you think.
And I think a big portion of books were burned in those fires too. What do you think?